Hello YouTube, yes it is indeed me, Orberon Zarlot Star Dragon. So, Orb Crystal Ball, Orb is another name for Crystal Ball, Lightning Bolt Zarlot, 7-pointed star, and a dragon. And what is this, you are wondering? Well, it's a face mask. No, I'm not being sarcastic, everybody. I am really genuinely not. It is indeed called a face mask. Now, don't know about the rest of the world, but here in the United Kingdom, as we still have COVID hanging around, or the pandemic and stuff, here in the United Kingdom, the UK government, have actually insisted and made it, although it's still a temporary law, they have made it what we call compulsory, which means it must be done, everybody has to do it, to wear one of these, which is a face mask, not necessarily a surgical one, but a face covering to go and use public transport. That's the buses, coaches, trains, possibly I would say planes, although they're not really classed as public transport, but and probably whatever else, and probably ferries maybe as well, even if you are going to different countries, but I would still advise you to do that if you're travelling abroad as well, because I don't know what the other governments have said, but in the UK, yes, you have to wear it. When you go out and public travel and use the public transport, you must wear one of these. And I'm wearing one to set an example, though I do not obviously need one being here in my flat. So obviously I'm going to take mine off. And I got this in a shop in Bristol, in the city centre, in the shopping centre called the Galleries. There's a section of it called Greyhound Walk. And there is a man who he's a tailor type kind of man. And he, makes these face masks. Now, he's not expensive at all. Now, he gives you a choice of how many you want. So the place where I got them, I'm not sure what the name of the shop, I've forgotten it, but you can either get 1 for £5. That's right, £5. Or you can get 3 for £12. £12. And this other one I showed you as an example, this is actually one I got in the city of Glastonbury, which is a very beautiful town, very pagan themed orientated. I've probably said it in some other videos before, so it's great to be back on YouTube now and doing some more videos, because I've not had internet for a little while because of COVID and so on. And yeah, it hasn't got a metal thing in the area where you would put your, which you put over your nose, but it still works. That one was only £1 in one of the shops in Glastonbury, but they're very simple. Just I don't know how you make them. Apparently there are ways to make them. They're very, very simple. But just to let you know, if you need one here in the UK, there are places where you can get them. Get how many ever you need, and always get more than one, I would suggest, because if you need one, and if you need yours and it's dirtified and it needs a wash, then you haven't got a spare one. Oh dear, oops, where you might get in. You might not get. Well, you might get in trouble. So I've got more than one, because obviously I want to have a spare one, so that if any of mine are dirty and have to go in the wash, then I've got a spare one I can use, and that's fine till those other ones are clean. And this new necklace I'm wearing is a septogram inside a circle, also known as a septicle. So it is still the septogram, which is that way, that way, that way, that way, that way, that way. And then it is now done in a circle. So I started wearing this, and I also again got it in the town of Glastonbury. Now, this is my new staff, but obviously it's pure white. Well, it's most moderately pure white, but obviously it's plastic, and it still does the job. Still, it has all the symbols of my name on it, and I made this partially made it myself because it was a Halloween thing and sort of part of a Halloween costume it came with, so it was really wonderful. And I have a sword. Not a ceremonial dagger or athami. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know, but anyway, that's the other name for a ceremonial dagger. That literally does look like quite like a dagger, to be honest. Now that, of course, is something I just don't like the name of that because it's hard. But we are doing the tools, and another one of the tools is a sword. Now, I'm just going to show you my new sword, which I got this in Glastonbury. Yes, it's a plastic toy one, but I think it was perfectly. I mean, I had to repaint it a little bit to make it look better, and I have finished and done so. So it looks more probably real, but it is actually plastic, believe me. But it is really, really nice. And I took quite the time in making sure that it was, you know, finished and everything, and looks really, really cool. And it looks better than it did basically when I brought it, because it was in a bad condition. I'm not going to show you what it was like in bad condition, because I haven't got pictures or anything like that. So that's that as well. I got that ages ago. Just squeeze past my staff a moment, which is not very easy, I can assure you. I have probably changed my flat around a little bit, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I wanted to do that now, come on. That noise was me, but not supposed to be doing that. Also, I got a cushion, which I'm using as a pillow at the moment, which is really, really cool. And if you've seen my Pagan Facebook pages, groups, and the image I use for my calendar to bless you all for in bulk, this, and as you can see, it also lights up. So it's the same image from the calendar I got, but it lights up, and I just couldn't resist not having that as well. So obviously I had to have it, especially the cat and the wand that it's got there. Also, I got in Glastonbury that, and also this in brand new staff. Now, it's not pure white, but it is brand new. It's very long. Excuse that, some prat going along on a motorbike or some sort. I wish they wouldn't really. But it is a beautiful dragon. I don't know what kind of dragon it is supposed to be, but it's very dark, it's very black. But obviously it's a dragon, it's got horns. But I personally think, because I don't see any legs to it, I think it might possibly supposed to be an amphitheatre, which is a dragon that can fly but does not have any legs, basically, just a tail and head and body and wings, which is actually. The staff actual part is very, very, very long. As you can see, and I also got a new crystal whilst I was down in Glastonbury in the shop down there called Man with Magic. This shop, I can't remember the name of it where I got the staff from, but there is another shop I will, if I could take you all there, my followers, I ideally would love to. But the crystal is beautiful, and it is a crystal, like a quartz or something, but it's been painted and then, but it looks really, and it's been given a sort of look to be a bit shiny, but it is really nice, and I like this because I may use it for a wand or staff in the future. I may not, I do not know, but this is the little crystal, and it's called a dragon crystal. So I don't know what that means, but it's beautiful. And I also got a very small mini broom. And as you can see, it's a very tiny little broom, but beautiful. I mean, it had some other things with it when I got out of the packaging, but it was so beautiful. But I found because it's so small, it's really great for cleaning my altar. And yeah, so those are some new things I got from Glastonbury recently. Well, not recently, but recently-ish, since the last video I saw you all in. And in my local supermarket, I've managed to get some big candles because I needed them. Not for any rituals or ceremonies, but I thought I wanted to share them with you anyway. I also got some new incenses, but they're not all from Glastonbury. There is one here I've got, but I can't show you the box because the box did get damaged, unfortunately, on the way home, rather sadly, slightly by some rain. When I recently went to Glastonbury, it was raining. Also, but it is a the actual name of the incenses, which I think is a lovely name for them, I think it's the fragrance maybe, they're called spiritual healing. And as I practice spiritual healing, I thought they would be very appropriate for me personally. Pardon me. Also recently I've got this cool book, and I've written, it's a Harry Potter themed book, and it's actually probably to do with Harry Potter memorabilia. It's called Spells and Charms, but actually I've written it for Dan. I've written what I've written, then there is all my different pagan priest services that I offer, and I would read them all out to you, but some of you are obviously going to have children and things like that, and you don't need to know about the services. Some of the services anyway, you don't need to know really about. So, also, I also have some sandals that are pure white, and I got these not in Glastonbury, but in Primark in the Bristol City Centre, and I did wear them, first of all, but they're mostly white. They're the right size for my feet, so that was really, really handy. yes, obviously you can imagine wear them. Unfortunately, because they were brand new, they did rub a bit, and I did have some blisters on my feet, so that's sad. But I haven't worn them for a little while, but I had maybe wear them, so I might wear them sometimes as slippers. So, I haven't, what I have had internet, I sort of haven't as well, because I've been trying to catch up on world media news and stuff and other things, so I haven't been doing a video for a while, but I've now gone up to, I think it's either 20 or 21 subscribers. I will have to check later. And I have found what is called a Unitarian church. Now, these are basically people who do not just believe in Christ and God and only one God, or the God of the, just the God of the Jews, or the God of the Muslims, which they follow Islam, or the God of just the God of the Sikhs. But they follow multiple spiritual paths, and they all congregate in together, and they call themselves the Unitarians. Unitarians United. I don't know what the Tarian part is, but I suppose it's humanitarians, and therefore... Well, and I would call them an interfaith people or church. I don't know why I do not know really why they call themselves a church, but they do. And there is one here in Bristol, and I was very pleased to find it. And I know where it is. I've been past it and near it before. And I found they have a YouTube channel, so I've subscribed to theirs, and they very kindly subscribed to mine. And when I get a chance to, I will look them up on Facebook, and I will give them my email and maybe my phone number, so I can go to one of their meetings. And they do, and they're from their Sunday listings I found on their main notice board. Obviously, they're obviously shut at the moment because of the worldwide pandemic, obviously, following the UK government guidelines, which obviously they've took from the World Health Organization, although I think they've gone a bit OTT with that personally right now. But I'd like to show you the listings, if I can find the right picture on my phone, now that the silly thing is fully charged, which, where are we? That will be today. So, got to find it, mind. So it might take me a little while to find the picture. But I took a picture from their notice board, and I like that they put a nice border around it as well, because that was useful, and they had all the different services they do. And they do quite a few services, but always on a Sunday night, it would seem, from what I could gather from their notice board, which is fine, because that's quite nice. It means I haven't got to get up too early on a Sunday morning, and I'm not those early, someone who gets up early. So it says here, if you guys can read it, well, you might not be able to read it because of the light in the background. What I'm going to try and do is just turn the other one off. Just run that on and turn one of the other ones off. It'll make it easier for you guys to read. So I'm going to turn, maybe that, I might leave that other one on, but no, you still can't read it. Okay, let's start turning this one off. Oh, well, it might be. No, I don't want to do that. Stop being a naughty phone. If I bring the camera forward a minute. Well, you can't really see it very well, but basically it says all are welcome at any of our monthly Unitarian gatherings. First Sunday in the month, service 6 p.m. So it's just a service, I don't know what it consists of, it doesn't really say, but anyway. Third Sunday in the month, so they do quite a few different Sundays. Bright Lights, which has speech marks over it. All age gathering 3 till 5 p.m. So they're but they all do them in the afternoon or evening, so that means it's nice to get to. And then they have also on that same Sunday, as another after 5 p.m. they have another service at 6 p.m. as well. Fourth Sunday in the month, meditation and chanting at 6 p.m. So they do chanting, and pagans do that as well. So I thought that was quite good. So that was tied in together. And fifth Sunday in the month, service at 6 p.m. So it'll be probably like the first one, and then the third Sunday month one, which is after the 3 to 5 p.m., which I might still go to. It says the minister is the Reverend John Harley. He has an email account, which I will probably I will not read out here on YouTube, because I don't want random weird nasty people potentially, and hackers and trolls and whatever else, and kind of all sorts of kind of weirdos hacking, emailing him for any random reason. Now there's also further information, and they have a website, which is also their contact details, which is their website, which is www.bristolunitarians.co.uk. I said underneath that, exploring spirituality and community, searching for meaning together. And then they have their logo, Bristol Unitarians, with some sort of candlestick holder with a nice cool flame around it. So something like that, maybe. I don't know how a flame looks, but anyway. So I thought that was really cool, and so when they're open again, I'm really wanting to go and see, go to their services and see what they're like for myself. And I think that would be interesting. And at some point, there is as I may have said in some of the other videos before, there is a spiritualist church in the Staple Hill area of Bristol, and I'm also tempted to perhaps go to one of their meetings and find out a bit more of it. I'll have to obviously go to where the building is. I know it is in Staple Hill, or near Staple Hill, and I will perhaps maybe go there and in the future perhaps, and find out when they're what services they offer and when they're on, and if I can get to them. So that'll be something. And I think last time I spoke to you before the light in the when I spoke before the light in the darkness video, I think I said something about the different tools that we have to do magic. So I had a list and I read them. I think I read them out from a list that I had for you, and I'm not sure if I actually that's going to be my window going. Yeah. Great. Okay. That's some of my window displays gone. So that's really, really, really good. Just had to find the right piece of paper with. Oh, that's not the piece of paper. Damn. I know somewhere I have written down all the different tools. I had a list of all the different tools written down, and I'd sort of kind of ticked off what and where we've got to with them. So I don't know what I've done with a list of damn tools now. So, and obviously I redecorated my altar a little bit with some other new incenses, and obviously some of the other things I brought in Glastonbury. Also bought some candles in my supermarket, supermarkets. They're not the same size, but they're the same style, so they're a bit thicker. Like this one I bought recently today in my nearest Sainsbury's, which I was quite pleased about, in a big Sainsbury's. And I bought one similar to that in my local Tesco last week, which is quite nice. And the same and when the same Sainsbury's where I bought this candle, I also brought a nice. They classed it as a tea light holder, but I think it fits in there pretty well, doesn't it? Yeah, even though it's supposed to be a tea light holder. So there we go. That shows you Tesco doesn't know what Sainsbury's. None of these places really know what they're talking about in their supermarkets. What to expect. Now, if I could, I'm going to try and find the book or the. It's 25 times that's done that actually since I've had it in there, but I had it straight in. Occasionally it likes to fall over, so excuse that for a minute. Somewhere I do have my list of the tools because I keep all that kind of paperwork and I did have a list, as I said, and I can't quite remember it seems where I got without that list. So if I can find that piece of paper with the list on it, that would be really handy. So I'm going to try and look for. I know it's going to make the video a bit longer. I'm going to be away from the camera for a bit of a while, but it's actually worth it, chaps. Everything else I don't really need right now, but I'm not finding that list. So I'd have to go back at looking at one of the, what I'll have to do is, because I think I wrote down some of the lists of the tools as well somewhere, maybe, I think. Yeah. I know I wrote down all the tools as well in some other places as well. I may have actually in oh goody. grief, in a book of spells, which would might be handy. I don't know how I forgot, but I'm hoping I wrote down all the tools from 1 to however many it is, and in alphabetical order from A to Z. I'm hoping I did anyway, because if I didn't, I'm going to shoot myself. So look. So that should be the one. I hope I wrote them down in here, because if I didn't, I'm going to really shoot myself in the foot. Here's my head. Hold that there, hold that on it. Right. There's something else. Imagine what it is. Oh, how annoying. Okay. Well, I do talk about the Elven Star or the Septagram a lot, and as I have some information here written in one of these spell books, I'm actually going to share that information with you now. It seems it's not the information I wanted, but okay. So this is all about the Elven Star, and I've got a picture of it there, which is what you've seen me wearing, which is this. Now, in there, as you can see, I've written where the different elements are. The 7 elements are written within the septagram. So at the top, we've got air. We'll start up here. We go all the way down to earth over there. Then we go up to fire here, go across and down into metal there, and then go across and along to space, and then go for up and across from space into time. And from time, we go down and across into water, and then from water, we go up and back, back and up and across to air. And that's how you draw the septagram. Very similar to how you draw the pentagram, all in one movement, no pencil or whatever drawing implement you're using to take the off the page and draw what each. And then I've written the information down. So the septagram or Elven Star, the Elven Star is another name for it. As I said, I've written drawn as such, which is over the previous page I've just showed you, represents 7 elements of nature instead of 5. It also can have the elements written at each one of its points, as such as I have done on the opposite page. Now, it is a very powerful symbol of wizardry, but it is also a very powerful symbol, as are each very powerful on their own, however, they are even more powerful when combined. So each element is powerful on their own, however, when they combine, they also become much more stronger. I wear the septagram like the other pagans tend to wear the pentagram or pentacle. It is not a symbol of witchcraft, and therefore I am not a witch, but I am a wizard. And that's what I've told you guys basically all along. This is a book of spells. It's blank, but when you write inside it, and you can write page in there. I mean, it's not lined, which I prefer, but it is blank. And on this front, it's got a little... some of you might, if you've watched the TV show Charmed, which you might recognise the cat from, and the collar, again, it's got that on it. And I've used a little one as an earring I got ages ago, or a necklace thing, and I put that in there to make it cool. And basically, I call it my book of spells, and that's... And then I've got a little dedication inside from the shop that I brought it to, because there's which is the shop called The Goddess in Green Man. So I like that shop very much. That's where I got the little mini broom from, and some other, not everything, but that's where I got. And I got another one. So I've also already put the little thing inside. I haven't called it Book of Spells 2, obviously, yet, because it's brand new. Obviously this one I've had a little while, so you can see it's a little bit damaged in places, where there's bits of white where the paint of the turquoise colours come away. But I thought, well, it's A5 and it's not plain, it's not lined, I can take a piece of paper and use that as a guideline, also, and which is really handy. And I dedicated it not only to that, but also to the witch behind the counter. She doesn't actually own that shop, but she is in there a lot of the time, and she's a very, very helpful lady. Oh, and something else I brought from Glastonbury more recently, which is a really, and a couple of times last time, some new books that I have to show you. So, I know where I put them. I mean, there is one I brought recently, before that in Bristol. There's some other ones I've got on vampires, but these ones are the most important ones. One I brought in Bristol is a book about the Aleister Crowley, so if you want to know more about him, I can probably try and get you that information. I have a vampire storybook from a friend of mine who lives here in Bristol, who's very open to learning paganism from me. Not learning it anyway, but he thought it would be really cool if I could teach him. So, and he came to me when we first met and kind of begged to ask me when we started getting to know each other. So this is a book I brought last time in the same shop, the Doris and Green Man. It's called The Magpie and the Wardrobe. And I have not actually read this yet, but I thought it would be a really fascinating book, and I like the front covers, so and some of the back covers as well. And on the back cover, it has a little description about it, and I'll read that to you. Well, it says, on the front cover, of course, a curiosity of folklore, magic, and spells. It was written by Sam Mackenzie and Alexandrine Portelli. On the back it says, the description here says, enter the spellbinding world of the Magpie and the Wardrobe, an indispensable companion to folklore, fairy tales, keepsakes, curiosities, magic, lucky charms, superstitions, and secret treasures. Be enraptured, enthralled, and entranced by this rare and beautiful book. Well, it seems like a very beautiful book to me to be reading. I like some of the, as I said, I like quite a lot of the imagery on the front and on the back as well, because it has some nice, interesting imagery on that. Obviously, it has an ISBN, and it was originally £20. I can't remember how much it was in the actual same book. This is a book I got in another shop in Glasgow. I've forgotten the name of it, but I got some sensitive body underarm wear stuff. So, you know, this sort of stuff. It's called Ladies of the Lake. It's got something to do with the stories of King Arthur, I believe. It's a very interesting book. It was originally $9.95. I can't remember how it was cheaper in the bookshop I got it in. Another book on King Arthur from the same book. It's called King Arthur, Man or Myth by Paul White. And it's sort of got a picture like a tapestry thing. And it's got a description on the back. And it says, which the other book doesn't. So I don't think it does. No, the other book doesn't have a like. So this book says King Arthur, Man or Myth, with a question mark. That's in the front. The King Arthur of Round Table fame, whose knights searched for the Holy Grail, is obviously legendary. But was there a real person who gave rise to the myth, as Cornish people have always believed? I don't think it's Cornish people who gave rise to that belief. Okay, that's interesting. I think that's a little bit odd. I don't think Cornish people would say that. Paul White here explores the intriguing evidence which suggests that he was a 5th century British warrior who, from a West Country base, halted and for a time reversed the advance of the Saxons. And this book was only originally £2.50. So very cheap book anyway. And this one is the one I bought much more recently, and I think it will be an interesting book because I wanted to learn Druidry for, properly, not have it really complicated. So this is a book, I think, that particular witch I told you about, which I dedicated the Book of Spells to. Her name is called Debbie. I found that out by another guy in another shop in Glasgow called, I think, The Labyrinth Books, I think it's called. I can't remember I don't know his name, but anyway, he said she would help me once, and she did. So, right, anyway. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Anyway, it's called Made Easy, The Druid Way, and it's written by Graham K. Talboys, and I think that was the book she told me about anyway, but she said if they got it in, they would tell me anyway. And then it's got, again, a description on the back. It's got the shop's price sticker, which is also the actual recommended retail price in the UK here. Because in America, it's $12.99, and the UK is $6.99, which is the price they put on the actual book, in the actual shop. Now, it says, Graham K. Talboys has been a druid, that should be the most likely thing, has been a druid for a long time. An encounter with a spirit in a beech grove 50 years ago convinced him that the eye rarely sees all there is to see. A few years later, he realised there were ways to discover more about those other worlds amongst the trees. The word druid did not, they've written it as didn't, which I really do not like, so I do that little thing there, of did not, drift into his consciousness until he was a teenager, but by then he was already exploring the forest and fascinated by the history and archaeology of ancestral Celts. Since then, Graham has been a teacher in schools and museums. He now writes, passing on what he has learned through fiction and non-fiction. He spent some time in a druid order, completing their formal training, but is much more comfortable exploring the first forest on his own. Since 2001, he has been administered the Hedge Druid Network with fellow druid Julie White. Well, druids do not have orders, they have groves, which is a little different again, so that's a little bit slightly different. But druids do not have orders, and that's slightly wrong, so I may find that book a bit full of crap, or not very good stuff. But wizards have orders, because wizards were first, druids were next. and they may be on my personal pagan path elimination list because I don't agree with their. I do not agree with their path, but I'd like to do a little research on it because it might be interesting, and it might not. So that's just me. But anyway, now I've obviously changed a little bit in place of it. So yeah, I've been buying a few tools and a few things. So, and there are other places where I'm living now where I can get some incenses, so that's been handy to get some incenses during even lockdown, which is really cool. But I cannot, at the moment, for some reason, find the book where I had all the list of the tools in, so I'm really annoyed with that. And I just remind myself, I also missed off telling you some other incenses. I also brought in Glastonbury. It's a whole little kind of gift box sort of set thing. But each one is really cool because they have a picture of a dragon on them, and it was £6.50 in the same in a shop. I brought my wizard sign ages ago, which is Wizard's Welcome, which I would love to show you guys again, but I cannot right now. It's from the company they've called Age of Dragons, and it says Dragon Incense Gift Pack. So it is a gift pack, but now on the back, as you can see, it tells you about each of the different dragons, and they are not the dragons that they are. See that one for the silver dragon there? That's actually the white dragon, so that really does annoy me. They've got their dragons wrong, this company, so I might have to write to them and tell them about their dragons properly. But I haven't actually used these incenses yet. I will do, but not yet. Because obviously, I have had these particular incenses before, each one of those particular incenses before. Not in this all-in-one gift set, however, I have had them in. I have actually used those different ones separately before. So I will be using them eventually, and I'm sure I'll enjoy them. But obviously, as my name suggests, I do enjoy things to do with dragons. So I know about many different dragons, and I might teach you one day about the dragons when I can get around to it. Don't know how long that might take to do, but I will try and do my best to try and get around to doing about that. So anyway. So that's a lot of different things. I recently brought in Glastonbury, I think, and a little bit recently before that. I know I did not do a video, and I do apologise, guys. But back to the previous video, which was to be light in the darkness. We should still strive to do that, guys. Being lights in the darkness. And obviously, big notification here. And to do that, I think what I would like you all to do, even if you're wearing, this kind of stuff and you go out and about, even wear your face masks, even when you go out and about, even when you're not wearing pagan gear, so like, the robes, and if you're wearing your necklaces and things, please, even if it's a crystal necklace, again, I would still advise you, if you feel like you want to be really totally safe, which I do personally, please do wear your face mask if you feel comfortable enough to do so, and to show that you think maybe that everybody should do it. And again, especially when you go on public transport here in the UK, if you're a UK pagan. Which reminds me, I've just found out through Facebook there are quite a few UK pagan Facebook pages. That's it. Yes, there's one called Pagans UK, and they also have a dating one now, which is very interesting. I just found their page, and then I found a dating page, which is odd, or interesting, or inspired, or maybe a blessing, I don't know. But apparently it accepts you and you can date whoever you want, regardless of your gender, sexual identity, etc., etc. So whether you're lesbian, bisexual, homosexual, gay, transgender, queer, intersex, pansexual, I think, but and even asexual, I think. But yes, that covers everything. And also, I managed to find on Facebook there is a Facebook page for the Pagan Council. Now, I don't know. I think they're supposed to represent pagans in the UK at the moment, the Pagan UK Council. So you might want to look their Facebook page up. I am also on Facebook myself. I'm not as my spiritual and magical name. What else have I got to tell you? Oh yes, I also found another pagan. I found something to do with paganism and being proud about it and celebrating it for YouTube. And then I found their Facebook page. Pagan Pride is what they're called. But apparently they did not have, they have, obviously for current reasons, they have not had a Pagan Pride now, which apparently it happens every year in Norwich, obviously because of the pandemic. But obviously apparently according to their, some people who put it on YouTube, the last year's one was the last one, so I'm hoping if they can give me some information I can organise one here in Bristol, which would be really great, because I would love to get all the Bristol pagans out and showing off who we are. And what I would like to do in the future is combine gay pride with pagan pride and really go for both, which would be really great to combine the two. But obviously that's not going to happen at the moment. And obviously gay pride in Bristol has been cancelled this year because obviously, or postponed until next year because of the pandemic. So you know it is on, and you might see my one of those crazy ladies that you've seen on this channel in the past. Mama Biatch, or Biatch as it's spelled, depending on your pronunciation. I really don't. I'm sure she's not worried as long as you call her Mama Biatch. Preference for that pronunciation, by the way. But you may see her for around with gay pride. You may even see me around for gay pride. I don't know yet. I haven't really decided. It's coming. Actually, it's coming next Saturday, which is the 11th. So hopefully I'll think of something to do for then, or one of those ladies might make an appearance. No, I don't think they will, but I certainly will. I know I will. But hopefully one day you will see those ladies, that crazy lady Mama Biatch again on this channel, hopefully in the future. Don't know when that will be, but I'm hoping she will make an appearance, do my little thing, celebrate gay pride this year for Bristol people and people who aren't, and other gay prides as well, but obviously I'll be mainly tying it in for Bristol Gay Pride, which is on the 11th of July this year, because it's always the second Saturday in July in Bristol, so that's usually when it usually is. So it's obviously the 11th this year, so I will personally, as I am at the moment, will be doing something like that for that maybe, and I'm hoping to get her to be in it and do another, and hoping she'll grace us with a presence and do a video as well, and I will hope that you will all enjoy it. So yes, and yeah, I've enjoyed talking to you guys. I'm enjoying doing my paganism. I finished my paganism priesthood training of the book I was telling you about that I was researching and using to train myself basically and get myself better orientated into it. And yeah, I mean, it has been hard for me with the COVID thing, pandemic. I prefer the word pandemic, but you know, anyway. But and it is a bit hard in time for a lot of you. So I am quite empathetic to many of you. You know how hard it is because you've had to isolate, not see your grandchildren, grandparents, parents, boyfriend, girlfriends, whatever. So I know sometimes these situations can be really, really difficult. So, but yeah, I'm glad I enjoyed talking to you guys, or not talking to you, more like talking at you guys, because obviously I'm not talking directly to any of you, because this is a video I'm recording right now, and eventually I'm going to upload it onto YouTube, and then you will all obviously see me on YouTube and either like or dislike the video. I'm hoping you all like the video. Give it those thumbs up, because that'd be really cool. Subscribe to my channel, because the more subscribers, if I get to 1,000 subscribers, YouTube will pay me for you to make videos for you guys. So that'd be really cool. And I do psychic readings, but mostly tarot. But I have done tarot readings, but I'm not really keen on doing tarot. But I usually do it through auras, and what I use as an oracle deck. That's the most ways I do it. I also do it by I don't really think they're proper. They're not really proper runes, but they are these numbered dice. So from anything from 4 to 4, 6. The numbers are the dice I use are 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 18, and 20. That's 9 different dice, and I've got 4 of each of those numbers, but there are multiple number dice up from 1 up to 20, basically. Well, from 4, so that'll be like a triangular little dice, up to a sort of circular, almost hexagon-like kind of dice with numbered 1 from 20 on it. So these are game dice, but I thought they could be useful in readings, and like runes, but obviously numerical. But I don't do numerology. I also can give you demonology help, I can give you dragonology help, I can give you help with lots of different things pagan-wise, and I have a list of I'm not going to tell you, as I said, if I tell you what all my services are, I'm not going to tell you all of them. You'd have to come and find me and find out what they all are. So I can put a jinx on someone, I can put a curse on someone. It might sound nasty and negative, it might all, but it's not. And I can put a hex on someone for you. I can do all sorts of other spells. I can teach you. I can do psychic readings for you, all except obviously, and I can do all types of different psychic types, psychic readings about different things except for death. I can do a seance or a mediumship for you. I can perform a hand passing, which is a hand fasting, which is a pagan wedding basically. I can do a dedication of children. I can do an initiation ceremony, so if you want to be initiated as a wizard or something like that, I can do that for you. I can present you, give you a presentation ceremony for you. I can do a dedication of a new wizard, or call it a wizarding. I can do the same for the children if you like. I can also do a funeral, which is basically a pagan wizard funeral, which is called a light extinguished. And you can guess why I call it that and about what I've been saying about lights and darkness. I can help you perhaps maybe choose and create a familiar, consecrate it, bless it, dedicate it. I can give you spiritual healing. I can give you a blessing or blessings. I can give you tooth and sympathetic ears, which I don't charge you for. I'm not going to tell you the prices because I don't want to at the moment. I can give you prayers to different higher powers, whichever one you feel comfortable. I can tell you how to write spells. I can help you do a temple dedication or an altar dedication if you wish. I can teach you how to make a wand or a staff. I can also I cannot necessarily tell you how to make. I can help you make other tools, except the altar itself, obviously. I can teach you how to make an altar. I can teach you how to make a spell book, not necessarily a book of shadows, which is similar. I can do a blessing for the elements and or consecration. Again, I can, as I said, I can do dragonology and demonology. I can do necromancy, which is something slightly different again. I can lead you in the different rites and ceremonies and rituals for different holidays, pagan calendar-wise. I can maybe help you with a potion. I can give you some inspiration. I can do some school services a lot in that way. I can give you if there's a pagan-based school, I can help you with graduation in that. Teach you about wizards. I can teach you about letter writing, not necessarily for pagan things, but I can teach you about that. I can help you dedicate your soul or your spirit. I can help you understand that, yes, there is sex that can be sacred, and how sex, the act of it, can be sacred in a special way. Not going to teach you how to have sex, basically, but I'm going to help teach you how it can be a wonderful blessing when you find the right person to start having sex with, if you have never had sex with anyone. Obviously that does not apply to you if you're asexual, but I can teach you how to find your beauty, your body, without any clothes on, which is called nudity, sacred as well. I can teach you about your own sexuality, which is also sacred, because just because I'm homosexual does not mean I'm not sacred, and my sexuality is not sacred. I can do other divination services. I can help you write a book if you wish. I can help you do a protection ritual if you wish, or other rituals as well. I can give you multiple different versions of spiritual guidance. I can give you, help you summon the spirits of magical creatures. I can help you summon an angel. I can help you do a sacrifice. And it doesn't mean I'm going to have to help you choose someone's throat to slit, or an animal's throat to slit, no. I can help you, I can sell you incense, maybe, if you need it. I can even help you burn an incense, if you wish. I can help you, I can sell you a broom. I can use a shaker to help bless you in some way. I can use a voodoo doll or puppet for you. I can make one for you and help you use it. I can even teach, give you a body blessing, so you might find, so not only will your body you will feel comfortable and accept your body as it is and find it beautiful and everything else, but I can also help you, give you through the gods and goddesses of ancient Greece, ancient and modern, your blessing through them for your body. Can make you realize how sacred food is and drink is, and I can even give you a food and drink blessing. I can give you a pain removal via homeopathic medicine, although I haven't really learned that yet. But that will be an eventual service I will eventually offer. I can teach you how to do readings. Teach you how, just to read. I can teach you how to write. I can help you even do a blessing for your clothes. So if if there's something you wear for doing rituals and or ceremonies and you want to give that to be blessed, I can do that. I can even help you bless your shoes if you want. So I did something similar to my sandals, for example, when I'm wearing them. We can even dedicate plants and have them blessed, maybe, and consecrated. I can help you do a spell, so if there's anything you want to collect and know different types of things, I can help you do that, like maybe some spit or saliva or some other body liquids that you feel you need to collect for a spell, or a spell says you may need to collect, or not specifically me, but if you've read from another spell. And other things you might want to collect, but that might be a bit. That is not for everybody. So please be aware that I am aware of that. I can also help you do a fertility ritual or ceremony if you want. Blessing, even I can even help you if you want me to, for some reason, to bless your muscles. So or a muscle. I can even teach you how to consecrate and bless your wand or your staff or any other tools you want me to. And I can also perform a naming ceremony for your children if you have children you want them to have, and you don't know what name you should give to them, or that would a name that would be appropriate for your children. So I can give you all those things and some other services. I did not read out because this is YouTube and I do not want this to not be age appropriate content. If there are those of you who might watch this, and have children, so please don't think I'm trying to be rude or offensive. And if you're gay, mainly homosexual, in other words, you like to be intimate, you're a man or a boy. That sounds wrong. Sorry, a man. Well, yes, I suppose if you want to class yourself as a boy, even if you're my age, or for your children to understand it much more better, you're an older boy, so you're a daddy, and you like to be, just say intimate for now, with another man, or another boy, because obviously if you're teenagers, you are going to be going through puberty, and you might find that you might like to try getting intimate with another boy who's also going through puberty. I would say at least anyway, but from an older man's perspective, which is what I am, at my ripe or very old age, depending on your point of view, of 33 years old as of March this year, so that's been and gone. But yes, when two men want to get intimate with each other, the same way as two women might want to get intimate, or a man and a woman might want to get intimate, then it doesn't matter what both men have in between their legs and what they have up here. Well, for me personally, it matters what they have up here, but that's another side issue altogether, and I won't go into that on YouTube. But anyway, when two people who are ideally have the same unmentionable parts in between their legs, I'm sure children, if they're old enough and if they're teenagers, they will know exactly what I am talking about. I'm sure those who are older than them who might be watching this will also know that as well. I'm trying to keep it as clean as possible, so that's why I'm saying getting intimate. Anyway, when you start doing that, and I can help you make, not just understand what that involves, maybe, talk to you about it, to help you understand not just the process of the puberty that your body is going through and what changes that entails, but also, that when you, as a man become fertile, I can't think of any other word to say it, and obviously you want to get intimate with another man, then I can also teach you about how that works and, show you, maybe demonstrate to you or with you or with another, show you basically with another man or whatever you feel, however you might feel comfortable to learn about it, but you get the idea. Hopefully you'll get the idea, you'll know what I'm saying. And, yes, I think I better stop myself there because that's going to get confusing. But I can help you in many, 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 many different ways. Some of my charges will be monetary based, obviously, because I do have to pay for these things because I might have to hide. So if I did a hand fasting, for example, with my, I have to get the order of service printed, like I would again for a funeral or a naming ceremony or a dedication. If you wanted an order of service, so I'd have to print out that, and I'd have to make sure I've got enough paper to print enough. And again, obviously, I then have to make sure that I've got enough printing ink to do that on my printer at home when I can get one again, because my printer broke on me this time. So, but obviously, also I'm going to have to charge you for my time to preside over the hand fasting as well. So that. So yes, there is a lot to consider. Again, I have to obviously any music you want and a place you want it to be done to hire it out, such as I don't know, maybe the Glastonbury tour, so at the top of the tour or below it, and I have to obviously got in contact with the National Trust and how much would they hire, and would they allow it? you know, all the legal stuff I have to go through. I obviously have to buy the ribbons or cord or cords, so I have to do all of that. I have to also obviously type out a ceremony. I have an idea of a ceremony, but it's not specifically a pagan one, but it shows you what I have to do. So I have to, you know, I have to have a couple, have at least 3 sheets, one for myself and any other pagan priests that might need to be there, or priestesses that might need to be there. Then obviously I have to also this is not going very well. Okay, let's double. There. And then obviously, sorry, I was talking to some clothing of mine. And then obviously I have to also, I think I'll have it back up there. Oh, that's still not good. And my head disappears halfway down the universe. I thought I would sit down for a little bit because it might be easier, but it seems it's actually proving a bit more difficult to sit down and talk to everybody. So I'm going to lie down a little bit. I'm sitting down, but I'm also kind of lying down, so you can kind of all see me. So back to what I was saying about the and obviously I have to make sure I have a couple the process of where we're going with regards to how to guide everyone through the actual ceremony. Particularly, obviously, the couple are getting hand fasted. Have to have a copy of them a copy for each one of them. Whether it's 2 men, whether it's 2, whatever, and obviously a copy for myself and I know the other priests and so on. Order service so that so that will have to include also obviously what the couple are saying and their vows, not their vows obviously, but how I'm guiding, I'm myself and potentially another priest, not just a pagan priest, but any other priest of any sort of other belief, is guiding the couple through the actual ceremony leading up to exchanging their vows and being pronounced as husband and civil partnership, lawfully wedded spouse, husband and husband, wife and wife. Although I don't agree with those because just because saying the same bit, should you have to share the exact same title as your partner? Anyway, or husband and wife, whatever, and you know when they're allowed to kiss. And obviously, so there's a lot to consider. Then obviously, you have to, you know, and so how many guests we might be able to have, you know, whether we have to limit numbers and stuff. So there's a lot. So and it might sound like an extortionate amount, but for hand fasting, I'm going to charge you £400. Now that might sound like an extortionate amount, but actually that's really quite cheap. I mean, I know some places, pagan weddings charge about another how much of money more it is, but I have heard, I do not know if this is true, but apparently the Goddess Temple, who are based in Glastonbury, charge at least £4,000 for a wedding. Not 400, but 4,000. So there's a lot. That is a lot more than what I charge. And then, as I said, some of the other ceremonies I might offer, dedication of children, so that'll be £5 more. Initiation ceremony, that's £550. Presentation ceremony is £555. Wizarding or dedication of new wizards, that's £600. Each of these things have to be paid for because I have to, as I said, there's a lot to consider, you know. And there's a lot of things to consider that have to be paid for. So, you know, gas, electric, water, you know, if I have to rent a space out like a hall or somewhere like that. Again, as I've said in the previous bit before that. Again, same thing for funeral, that'll be $605. And then when I said about the naming ceremony, which is somewhere further along in the book. So, for example, the naming ceremony is probably going to be one of the most expensive ones. I can find it. It will be quite expensive knowing my luck. And it'll be one of the later ones that I wrote in here. It's like a dedication for children, except obviously it actually allows them to be named as the name that the parents want to name their child. So... They're being down on here, so I'll put you in here. Name ceremony, the last one. So the last one of my services. So it's a little bit more, but it's $460. But there's another one I put in there. So, but each ceremony, you know, each thing, a service I offer you is different prices. But that's just an example. Those prices are going to stay as they are written down in this little book. Sorry, I'm getting a bit closer to the camera now, but to just sit down for a minute so I can get everything straightened up, as it were. Right, I'll try and put my iPad back to where I had it, and hope it doesn't fall off in the face of the entire universe now, because it's not going to go. 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 There, stay there, and stand back up, and here we go. Ooh, that was difficult. Sorry about that, guys, but I had to sit down and make it easier. And this video has been going on long enough now, because apparently I've been going for 55 minutes and 22 seconds. So, anyway. So yes, but I will, but it is important that you know that I will gladly give you all the services that are, offered, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to charge you. So, especially if you're men, some of those other services, I will not, if I meet you personally, and you need some of the other services that I did not read out in this video, which are a bit more discreet, shall we say, once I've learned them as well, I will charge you for them, obviously, because I'm giving up my time to provide those services to you. So yes, and not only that, I'm not charging you for the time that, I am charging you for the time, I suppose, as well, even though it's also an element, but my personal time, and the devotion to performing those services for you, and all kinds of things like that, and getting, and spending, and obviously decorations is something I have to buy as well, so I have to to decorate the place that I'm, might have to perform the ceremony to, and hiring it out and whatever, and going to the local council and say, like, to the park or something, saying, oh, can we please do the ceremony here, there, or, in the park, and they say, oh yes, they say no, then I have to find another spot, and then, so there is and I do mean this in the nicest possible way, there is a great amount of things that you have to consider when doing these things for people. So, yes, there is really a huge amount of things to, I'm not too close to the camera, but there is a huge amount of things that I have to consider, not just as a priest, but, from a priestly perspective as well, however, but from a physical perspective of, hiring out say, for example, it was a community centre, so that might be a hall, such as, like a place like a community centre, hiring, so the use of maybe the seats, the facilities like the toilets, kitchen, using gas, electric, water, as I said, and then obviously if they have a limit on, numbers and therefore bums on seats, so it's, to do with health safety regulations, fire regulations and that. And then of course make sure we've got someone there for that and sort of thing. And obviously that person has to, although it might from the community centre itself, might have to hire it out, add it to the cost of the hire of the community centre. Also, I might have to then, if you want to then use that place afterwards, if they have a bar attached, I might have to, consider putting that cost in for the use of the booze, and maybe if they have a kitchen, for food and refreshments and things. And whether or not I have to buy refreshment, make sure I've got, if you need catering done, not that I'm very good at doing, I'm not a trained professional caterer, but if you then now expect me to help to arrange for you, maybe, even if you want me to plan your hand fasting or your wedding, I have to, put that in as well. And then, of course, obviously, then, you've got to say you have to then hire caterers and, and they might do it, I don't know, say, whether or not they cater to children and, dietary requirement. There's a lot of things to consider when you have to organise these kind of events and these rites and so on, and the afterwards and stuff, the wakes and all that kind of stuff. So there is an absolute huge amount to consider just for those things alone. So yeah, I'm sorry for the noises because I have my window because it's a little bit hot in here, or it was a little bit hot earlier. Maybe I should close it now, but yeah, I don't want it to get too hot if I then close it, because I have to put because I'm cold and I have to put my new electric heater on, which I won't show you at the moment, but yes, so for some of those services there's a lot of things to consider about, and if I have to buy anything extra, like any extra candles or incenses or statues of different gods or anything like that, some things like this, and this, and staffs, Whoops, whoops, whoops. That's not supposed to be making that kind of noise right now. Why is that doing that? To make me annoyed, perhaps. Such a thing as maybe, so, you know, maybe maybe a candle, you know, maybe a, that's what I got that. As I said, incense. So maybe make up a small, you know, make up a new altar, a temporary altar or something like that. You know, make sure, try and get robes if people need them as well. Maybe something. That damned candle again. Sorry guys, that's just annoying me, but I'm going to leave it for now. So you know, if we, you know, whatever it is we need and I have to get it, then that has been included because it's in the cost that I can. I mean, I can provide it for you again, but it's part of the service. It's one of those. But yeah, something like a wedding is a costly thing anyway. So yeah, there's a huge, and I do mean a huge amount of things to consider when doing such things like that. So anyway, this video is a bit long, and I think if you don't mind, guys, I'm going to stop it there. But I will wish you now with something to remind me what I should be wishing you. My pieces of paper that I printed out real recently. It's not that one. I put that other one there. I don't want to pull out that one. I want to put that. Just remember where it is and which one. Oh, excuse me, it's quite late as well for me. So, yes. So I'm going to leave you first. Wish you, first of all, leave you and love you and wish you all. First of all, peace, then positivity, light, love, and of course any other blessings that you want to receive or require. And that's where I'm going to leave it, and hope to see you all again soon. Blessings, everyone.